Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Hollywood. Jeff Petty is our producer today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live comes to you from the Parmar Store Studio. Parmar, the Written Family Foundation, best price and fair price again. Offering the Parmar Store scholarships available to any high school senior or undergraduate student from West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Kentucky, anywhere where Parmar operates, who's enrolled in a college, university, trade school, or technical program. Application details available on the website parmarstores.com. Under the community tab, application deadline is April 30th. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. Of a Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. We're at Chevy truck season. Are you ready for the truck that can handle any job? Check out the 2024 Silverado. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or a $5,000 total value when you trade in on an eligible vehicle. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. See them for all details. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by ThornhillGMSuperstore.com or on the road to total savings, US 119 in Chapmanville. Coming up on the show this morning, it kind of took a lot of people by shock on Saturday night when the announcement came out that two of Charleston's most popular restaurants are going to be closing their doors. Talking about the Tidewater Grill and the Chop House. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. One of the guys who was on this story starting Saturday night, of all people, meteorologist Brian Hughes from our friends over at 13. He's going to join us to talk about that, as well as former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones will be stopping by. We're going to hear from Ernest Blevins, who is a candidate for House, and we're also going to talk to Charleston City Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass, who's standing by. But before we get to that, I do want to mention this. We got a major traffic situation about 7:30 this morning. Eastbound traffic coming into the city. This was on the Fort Hill Bridge. There was an accident there. There was a car that actually flipped over on its side. There are reports of injuries. And as of our last report, traffic is still slow moving coming in to downtown Charleston. So if you're traveling on I-64 this morning, again, even though it happened about 7:30 this morning, I'm told, and if it's anything's changed, somebody can text me or call me and let me know, but I'm told that traffic is still being impacted by this accident that happened at about 7:30 this morning on the Fort Hill Bridge, eastbound coming into town. So just know that. Know before you go, as they say. Shannon Snodgrass, Charleston City Councilwoman, Ward 11, joins us now via the Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline. Shannon, Councilwoman Snodgrass, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for asking me on.
Thanks for being here, and be thankful you're not trying to drive into downtown Charleston this morning, because it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's get right to it, Councilwoman. You've been very critical of the Goodwin administration's handling of the whole Tyke Hunt situation. Everybody knows the story by now. Former chief demoted, now 2 ranks down to corporal, and has been on unpaid suspension following the internal investigation into alleged sexual misconduct. Of course, he filed for medical leave before being placed on administrative leave. You're asking for an internal investigation to be made public. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I think what you said is correct. I have disagreed with this administration from day one with the handling. As you recall, the Harless case, no one even knew about it until she spoke out, the first allegation of sexual misconduct. And we found out that there was a investigation and a 3-day suspension, even though the top-ranking officials didn't even know that he had been suspended. So that was a year and a half later. So I think that was not. I think when you're dealing with our top cop, our chief of police, you have no choice but to be open and transparent. And really, why would you not want to be? I mean, that's public trust. But now, fast forward, we've had the second allegation from an ex-police officer, Chelsea McCoy, who is now also suing the city, suing Corporal Hunt, and suing Sergeant Bassford. And I think that after 7 months of spending, not only paying for 2 officers to be off, but we paid for an investigation with taxpayer money, I think it's very clear that they can release the findings of the Professional Standards Division. I think it's important to let the public know, with all these allegations of misuse of sexual misconduct, first of all, public misuse of public property, misuse of public devices, perhaps altering a polygraph test from how many did he do, and then not tell us what they found him guilty of. Was it any? Was it all? We know it was egregious. I can't recall. Maybe you can. When was the last time an officer was demoted? I mean, he stepped down as chief on his own accord. Not the mayor didn't demote him. He stepped down himself when the second allegation was forthcoming. But he's been demoted twice. We know he's been suspended now twice. So we know that whatever they found was bad. Why can't the public know that? Why can't the public know what policies were breached, whether it be HR policies, and as you know, officers also have a separate policy and procedure group of code of conduct they have to follow. So, I mean, just simply, why not? It's going to come out in a lawsuit, but why not be transparent with your taxpayer money? What are we hiding? Why not say it?
Talking again with Charleston City Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass. Let me be clear, Councilwoman, that you aren't the only person asking for details to be made public. Kenny Bass of Eyewitness News was actually on the show with Hoppy last week saying pretty much the same thing. Other council members have asked for this to be made public.
Well, and you know, I've heard the excuse that it's a personnel policy. Well, that's how they tried to shut down the Harless case. Okay, now let's talk about that. There's other officers that the public's going to recall, and Dave, you remember this, when there was we didn't know till after the fact, but there was a disabled female on the west side that was at a Dollar General and had an altercation in the store, and then with an officer, wouldn't take her hand out of her pocket. A second officer entered the scene. There was a scuffle, but we all knew every detail of that incident and the officer being fired. What is the difference? I can give you another example. Mm-hmm. There was an officer involved in throwing a backpack of a homeless man. We know that's not right and bad, and whatever your opinion is of that, and even with the other incident I mentioned, we know it's bad, but these 2 cases were publicly talked about, and the details were revealed, and the discipline was revealed. And this gentleman, Tyke Hunt, was our top cop that was appointed by an elected official. I just think it sets a tremendous bar if that's allegations and all they could come up with was a 3-day suspension. And as you recall, even more importantly, they want to hide behind personnel matters. But as you recall, speaking of Hoppy, mm-hmm. on the Hoppy Kercheval show, Kevin Baker got on there after the Harless case came out right before the election, 15 months after the incident. And Kevin Baker talked about the case, talked about the personnel matter, but he got on Hoppy and talked about that Ms. Harless and Tyke Hunt's stories corroborated each other. Therefore, the investigation was closed. And yes, Mayor Goodwin selected the penalty or the punishment. Mm-hmm. Well, why could they talk about that and now they can't talk about it? It's selective enforcement. It's selective what you want to talk about.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, and just to give you another example,
yeah.
I think that's why they remain so frustrated. I mean, look, I have the same political affiliation. You know, you want to support your mayor, but at the same time, you know, I feel like we're dealing with someone that's you know, I hate to use a quote. I'm not much on quotes, but like Harry Houdini, the secret of of showmanship is not what you actually do, but it's what you convince the public that you have done. I mean, for an example, another example of, quote, personnel policy, can't talk about it. You don't want to talk about anything that looks bad. Well, Danny Jones didn't do that. He'd get out in front of the camera and tell you straight up what happened. And here's, like it or not. And I'm used to that. I spent terms, I think, under Jones, and now I'm on my second term. I'm one of the longest serving council people currently of this group that we have now. But I just, another example would be when we had the big controversy and everybody found out about her hiring her two friends under temporary employment of a temporary agency, and our own Suttle & Soniker said we weren't following personnel policy, but yet we kept one for 4 years and never took a day off. Kenny Bass, speaking of Kenny Bass, who does a bang-up job, he and Leslie Rubin, at least they report to the media, to the public what goes on. He talked about that case in detail, or that story, and they said, oh, it's a personnel matter, we can't talk about it. Well, you kept one temporary employee that was so close to your campaign for 4 years, and the other one for 2 years, and one we paid for 2 weeks, taxpayer money, that's a fact, paid for 2 weeks while vacationing in Hawaii. I have no idea what she did for the city of Charleston while vacationing in Hawaii. So it just looks a little, it's hard to swallow. It's a personnel matter now.
You read, Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass is with us again. You read quite a powerful statement, Councilwoman, on the council floor during the regular meeting last Monday. In the interest of time, do you care to paraphrase what you said during that meeting?
Well, it was rather lengthy, but, in general, this administration campaigned on transparency and championing women. And I just believe that most of these cases, you can see clearly that there is no transparency. We have lost it on council floor. We're not even allowed to ask questions on council floor. But I talked about, and at the end of the day, I heard Kenny on one of the shows. He's correct. It's about these women. And what does this speak to the public if we cannot, A, protect these women, but not give them and ask our public to trust our law enforcement? And I am a true supporter of law enforcement. You know that too. I've been on your show several times talking about raises, and I wave the flag for our men in blue. But but even they want. It's been a black eye to them, and they want this done and over. But they want it. They want it open, and so they don't have to deal with this. And I just basically said that, I stand for transparency, and I thought this administration did, and nothing about this is transparent. And if this does not fall on the heels of firing someone, when I just gave you examples of other officers that were fired, and I've heard Danny and others say it's very difficult to fire an officer. I guarantee you he could do it. And if you look at it nationwide, it's easier now to fire a police officer than any time that I recall. If these allegations of not one, but two women for sexual misconduct does not fall under a fireable offense, and I say it again, I ended with that, then please tell me what does.
That's pretty much what Hoppy said in his commentary that he did last week, too.
Yeah, I saw that. I said that sounded like my speech.
Pretty much said the same thing.
And I thank Hoppy for letting the state, because I'm going to tell you, as you know, the public is very aware of this. And, we want to trust our police officers. And again, you run on the platform. We're going to, you talk about those two restaurants Brian's going to get on there and talk about. She's the CEO of this city. She ran the first time on, I'm going to revitalize the mall. I'm going to do this. We're going to have a robust economic development. Well, nothing has happened except people leaving. But yet, okay, we had the big announcement about Tyke Hunt, and the investigation is now closed, but I didn't fire him. But yet, oh, look, we're going to tear down the Macy's building and start the sports complex. We don't even have the money for that yet. Why are we tearing down the Macy's building and leaving it an eyesore for 2 or 3 years before we have funding? Again, it's all about showmanship. Look at, don't look at what I say, not what I've done. It's getting to the point, it's to be honest with you, to sit on council and watch what happened to these two women. They came forward. It's not about the women. It is all about the women now. But it's not judging these women. This person had a gun and a badge and a duty to this city. And the mayor had the obligation to handle things in an appropriate manner, in a transparent manner. I stand for transparency. I will always champion women, and I will always champion our law enforcement. And I think this gives a double black eye to law enforcement, and they don't deserve it. It's hard enough to be a police officer. You need to handle your own and be upfront about it.
Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate you being here. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
It is 9:23. Phone calls to the show is service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by from farm to table. Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy. Find the perfect over-the-counter hearing aid at Fruth with NuvoMed hearing aids. Plus, Fruth makes it easier to transfer your prescription services to them. Fruth is your hometown family pharmacy. Text says, how disappointing is it to serve on a council and with a mayor that vowed transparency but has been non-transparent, that dismisses victims of sexual assault but sides with the accused, has waged a war on women with numerous firings that have resulted in a number of lawsuits. Text says, Dave, thanks to Councilmember Snodgrass for being a voice of transparency for the city. Continued cover-ups only further injure public trust of the Goodwin administration. Maybe it's time to look up the word integrity in the dictionary. Text says, the difference between Tyke and other officers is that Tyke knows some inside info about the city. The city doesn't want whatever he knows to come out. Text says, can you give your opinion on the sports facility that was announced with much fanfare during the election cycle of 2022? Back then, we were told it would be paid for, but to date, only $12 million has been set aside for it, and Commissioner Salango has said bonds would be issued for it. With the economy the way it is now, I can't see it's the best time to be going to market. Well, I had Salango and Mayor Goodwin on the show on Friday. You may want to go back and listen to that show, and there's been some more news that's come out about the proposed sports complex, and I've got Commissioner Salango coming on the show Wednesday to talk about that. Text says the mayor's community outreach coordinator, her two overtime friends, this Tyke Hunt fiasco, patterns of shadiness, I think. The mayor's Houdini skills are POTA, the city center, and the new sports complex, says the texter. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please shop locally. They're also hiring. Stop by any location for details. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. Candidate for House of Delegates, Ernest Blevins, coming up next. We're back after this from the Parmar Store studio on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to Total Savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at omegacommercialinteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
We need real conservatives in the House of Delegates. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
Hi, I am Mark Carter. As a conservative lawyer, I am a strong supporter of life, faith, and the Second Amendment.
Mark Carter was appointed to national offices by both President Donald Trump and President George W. Bush. Let's elect a new conservative Republican to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
927, the Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Big news over the weekend, the announcement of the closure of Tidewater Grill and the Chop House. We're going to get into that coming up a little bit later on. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Ernest Blevins, House candidate, District 57, is with us right now. If I flip your microphone on there. Ernest, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Give us the bio on Ernest Blevins.
I came to West Virginia in December 2013 and chosen to stay. I have a degree in historic preservation. It's Master of Fine Arts, and I work in cultural resources, doing archaeology, architectural history, a lot of what's called Section 106 work, which deals with the National Historic Preservation Act. So I go between working doing consulting and contracting work, writing reports, to actually being in the field, doing the shovel tests and photographs of buildings and things, generally, around the whole Southeast sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in running because I did run last time in 2022, and I did fairly decent for a newcomer. Mm-hmm. And I would like to do public service and, try to assist West Virginia to improve and keep more people here and attract more people. I have kids in elementary school and junior high, or middle school they call it here, mm-hmm. High school, and one at Marshall and one in the workforce. So I'm all products of Kanawha County schools in the end. And, I would like to see them stay around if I can, or at least provide them the best education to move forward in their personal lives and careers. So I have an interest in a lot of things and improving things in West Virginia to help us all.
You're running out of District 57. First of all, explain that district to us, and what are some of the biggest issues of that specific district, Ernest?
Okay, the district is basically SCAF's old district. Mm-hmm. It runs from basically 119 to Dunbar and South Charleston, and then on up back, not quite to Jefferson Road area. I call it South Charleston, Dunbar, Vandalia, South Hills, Spring Hills, that area there. It looks like on the map probably the smallest geographical district, mm-hmm. at least I've seen in the state, but it has the same population as all these other districts that expand for acres and acres. The district, I think, is fairly conservative, although they've elected popular Democrat in the past who's now changed parties, which sort of says something about maybe a little more conservative than that. So some of the issues, we all want good roads. One of the issues in general I've seen is the pay salary in West Virginia. I'd like to see that improved.
For state
employees.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked in the state, I noticed there's some pay discrepancies, not malicious or anything, but if I compared Charleston dollars to other places, I found that the employees in my office tended to be lower paid than their peers around the country, and this is adjusted to Charleston dollars. And I saw several people leave so that they were using us as a stepping stone to go off to other places. And if we adjust that salary gap there in their fields, and this is probably not just that office, but other offices I would suspect have the same sort of situation, that we could keep and attract people here. There, and of course, being near town, that would help our district in maybe attracting some people. And we have fairly strong economics with South Charleston and the new products going in there, mm-hmm. across from the Kroger. And so the district is fairly decent, but I think we can all work on improvements and do ourselves better.
Talking to Ernest Blevins again, a Republican for House of Delegates in District 57. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Opening night for the Dirty Birds coming up on Thursday. And on Thursday's show, we'll spend some time talking with the management, some players, too, from the Dirty Birds on the show on Thursday. Ernest, how's the campaign been going so far?
It's been going fairly well.
What's your campaign style? Are you a sign waver, door knocker?
I've been doing some door knocking. I'm the one who has a flag either out the van or out the car. Big blue flag says Blevins on it, and the district subdivisions of Vandalia and that sort of thing. So I'm the one you see running around doing that. I do some flag waving. A little bit of a different twist on sign waving. As a little gimmick has gotten me some notice, and I've had people comment on it, so it was successful and last time, and so I continue to do that and try and meet people, giving cards out, getting the name out there, and say I think I have a little bit of advantage. I do have my name already out there from last time. Competition, I don't think we've heard from one of the people who's running. And then, of course, the other one is advertised on this radio, which so we're all working for the same vote. I have no feel on how he's doing, how the other one's doing, or how I think I'm doing pretty well myself, but I really have nothing to compare with, and I don't know if they do either.
What do you, when you're out at campaign events, whether you're waving your flag or you're talking to people or doing whatever, what do you hear from the public out there, Ernest, about District 57? What are they telling you?
Well, I've gotten very positive comments on it that, people are interested. Some people aren't interested at all. But I think they're just now starting to get interested. Early on, that people were just too early a start and that sort of thing. But now that it's starting to come up within a month, people are starting to look and pay a little bit more attention, ask some more questions, and get a better feel of the candidates, and so we're just trying to get our word out there. That,
you have a like a website or social media that you're on?
Elect Blevins 57 is my Facebook.
Okay,
and I'm predominantly working on using that more.
Okay,
that seems to be more engaging than websites in my experience.
So social
last
media,
time.
social media, and of course you can't go wrong with traditional radio either. So.
Yeah, which I'm looking into.
All right.
And my email is electblevins@gmail.com, so you can reach out there as well if you have questions or would like to help out or whatever. I appreciate that.
Give me the final 30 seconds, as we call it. Why should someone vote for Ernest Blevins for House District 57?
Well, I'm pro-Second Amendment. I'm pro-life. I believe we could have some election reforms to ensure us having better election results that we can trust. I believe in education. As I said, I have kids in school and products of school here. I've been a lifelong Republican. I'm active in the committee here. We're actually about to have our Lincoln Day dinner April 27th at South Charleston, and the webpage for the party has that information. Also, I've been active there. I would like to be a common man for the legislature, a little bit different. My background's different, and it could help out with, in working in the legislature to have a little bit different approach besides lawyers and rich. I'm a common man, try to get a few years of public service in, and then, like the Founding Fathers, retreat back for a little bit and maybe come up again if needed. But no, I'm not looking to make this a career move at all. So I would appreciate anybody's support and look for Ernest Blevins on the ballot.
All right. Ernest, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. Ernest Blevins, Republican candidate for House District 57. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
It is 24 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, keep it safe, keep it legal. Get with Pinnacle Consultants. They can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead is the law. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. Back after this from the Parmar Store Studio and the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
Whether you're looking for a whole home or under-the-counter solution, Waterboy has you covered. Our military and medical grade systems remove 100% of the forever chemicals while leaving the minerals in. You don't want to jeopardize the health of your family, and with Waterboy's cutting-edge technology, you don't have to. Call Waterboy at 304-395-3465 or visit waterboywv.com to see how affordable it is to give your family safe, healthy water. That's waterboywv.com.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education. Paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to Total Savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
21 minutes away from 10. If you've not done so already, make sure you download the all-new Metro News TV app. You can enjoy your favorite Metro News programs, Talkline, Sportsline, Three Guys, and more. New Metro News TV app for Apple TV, iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, and more. Metro News for your ears and eyes with Metro News TV app. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show at 580 Live brought to you part by Huston's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad, only $20.99 at your favorite Huston's location. Knock out a couple texts here. Text says the city should be put on notice. If you can't fire Tyke Hunt for sexual harassment, you can't fire anyone else for the same or similar offense. Text says, could you possibly quit beating the dead horse that is Tyke Hunt? He should be fired, but as Danny Jones said a few days ago, probably take a medical retirement and get a pension from the police board. Whether Populous likes it or not, that is what is sorrowful. Thanks. Text says, Dave, I changed from Democrat to Independent because I thought the change would be good, but it's only gotten worse. Too many social issues trying to tell people how to live. Text says, Dave, did Mr. Blevins ever get his Confederate flag back after it was snatched from him while he protested at the Board of Ed? Losing your colors traditionally means you lost a battle. He should know that as a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Well, over the weekend came the news, late Saturday night, that a couple of iconic Charleston eateries, the Chop House and Tidewater Grill, would be closing their doors. Meteorologist Brian Hughes from Storm Tracker 13 somehow found himself covering this story late Saturday night. He joins us now via the Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline. And with additional comments, we have former Mayor Danny Jones here. Danny, good morning.
Good morning.
And Brian, good morning to you too.
Good morning to you, gentlemen.
All right. Well, please don't use the word gentleman around me and Danny.
Well, there's at least one of you, and there's a gentleman.
I'm going to start with you, Brian. You were all over the story starting Saturday night. I mean, don't you have rain to watch or something? How does a meteorologist get in on this story?
Well, typically I would be just doing the rain and the weather, but sometimes I get wrapped into things just by accident. And that's kind of how this happened. I mean, I saw everybody who has ever been to Tidewater, a number of times has probably ran into, Marianne Legg. And, she's worked there for 20 years. She literally has been late 3 times ever in her 20-year career there. And she's a wonderful lady, and she just said, I just lost my job. They're closing up. So I quickly messaged her, and she's like, yep, both restaurants are closing. And so I posted that, confirming what she had told me. And things kind of went off the rails from there. And then they had a meeting at 10 a.m. yesterday morning at Tidewater with all the employees from Chop House and Tidewater to advise them of everything, going forward in the best way the company could help them. And the company said, listen, you can come work with us in Ohio or Michigan. And the president of the company said, we don't expect many, if any, to take that offer because you've got to go well up to, into Michigan in order to get some of those jobs. But he himself, Kevin Judejko, who is the president of MS Adventures, he said he was upset that one of the managers told me that they haven't given a crap about this part of their company since they bought the place a number of years ago. And he was upset with me, and I said, no, I did not say that. One of your managers, the guy you told on Saturday night that it's time to close up the doors, you need to tell the employees. That's what he said to me directly on Sunday morning. And then I had a phone conversation with the president of the company, and he said, they're going to spend $40,000 to pay out vacation, but they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 5 years, and he said they just could not sustain that without new tenants and a better lease deal. And when he and I were specifically discussing the Hall Group, I said I'm going to put this nicely. They're difficult to work with. He said, "Oh, you're being way too nice. They're a pain in the horse's rear," and he said, we've come to a point where the city, who's tried over and over to work with them, can't work with them anymore. It's a private company. They're just being extremely difficult, that being the Hull Group. And he said, listen, the thing that we are trying to drive home is we were excited about the sports complex. And if the hotel had gone in like it was supposed to, he said, we probably could have survived until that sports complex. He said, but the problem is the Hull Group.
Danny, what is the Hall? Are they the people that own the mall?
That's the people that own the mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
And they were the ones who I was there when it was auctioned on the courthouse steps. They were the ones who bought it for $5 million. And that was essentially just taking over the note from I can't remember if it was U.S. Bank or Bank of America. But you look at what's happening right now. I've gotten other notes from people who talked about how they're not renewing leases, or they just have really bad terms to negotiate. And, there will be more stores that are going to close up shop in there. And, you've got to look at this. Okay, is this going to be another quote-unquote bankruptcy just with this as its own entity, or is this just going to be a total write-down that they're looking at as far as taxes are concerned, and what happens to the property after that? Because right now, if you get it for $5 million, there's 22 acres over here. Right now, the running rate for an acre would be about $1 million a pop. But you've got to be able
he's
go
not
there.
The Hall Group isn't interested in selling them all, are they?
And not at this point. But as we all know, everything has a price. It's just naming it and taking it off his hands. But I don't know who would do that.
Everything has to have a buyer, and if you buy a mall like that, you're dealing in negative volume. In other words, you're going to lose. You're going to lose money.
Danny, you were there when these two establishments first opened their doors.
Yeah.
So your thoughts?
Tidewater opened in *83, and I still had all my dark hair, and I wasn't. I was elected sheriff the next year, and I had a good life back in those days. It was a very exciting place, and they had a lot of good business. You had to get there early to get a table, and I think this is all very sad. Let me tell you what opportunity looms, though. Brian, if I was 40 years old instead of 73, I would try to contact those people that own the Hall Group, because I have a feeling these people have walked out, and they've left everything there. And they owe money on their lease, but somebody might get a restaurant for nothing. And if the Hall Group was smart, and I did this in Nitro, I got I paid Bob Hatfield for 8 months. I paid him $5,000. That's all I paid him. No, I paid him $3,000 something. So essentially, I got the first year almost free. And that gives you a good head start. So somebody, if they were if they were interested in having a restaurant, they could make a deal there. But now if this guy doesn't want anybody in there, or if he doesn't want to help somebody get the place, then, and that's at either end. Mm-hmm. You could do either end. I could take that Tidewater and bring some smokers down there.
Well, it sounds like we need the return of Danny's barbecue.
No, we're not going to do that.
Is that what you're hearing there, Brian? Hey, Brian,
I've heard that.
Brian, one thing I want to say I think that was really good in this whole story is, you saw various eateries throughout the Kanawha Valley. I mean, going as far as over where I live in Putnam County, Sleepy Hollow, putting out things saying, hey, we want to hire these people because, face it, they kind of have selfish reasons too, because they can't find anybody to work. So they're reaching out to these people.
That's right. And listen, Marianne Legg, yesterday morning, she already had a job offer that she had accepted. So she didn't tell me where. She said, I can't say it yet, but I've accepted a job offer. A lot of those guys, I was talking to a lot of the line cooks, the kitchen staff out there before they had their meeting at 10 a.m., they're all just, you could see just the distraught sort of looks on their face, but when they were hearing and they were seeing on Facebook all these offers. I mean, you have Olive Tree Catering, you had Buffalo Wild Wings that were offering to give them jobs. PG said, please come see any of us downtown. We're looking for people who will hire you. Mm-hmm. And so you saw the good spirit of the business community step up and go, we'll take care of these people because we do need more staff. We need these people, and they're good quality staff. But there's one thing that the president of the company, I asked him, I said, why the no notice? He said, we were told essentially by the group, the board, that we've got to shut it down. There's just no way that we can do any more. And he said, I could have hired a company to come in here and just terminate these employees, and I could have moved on. He said, but I drove all the way from Michigan. I wasn't happy with the way they were still terminated as well. But he said, I could have hired somebody out and done this. He said, but I drove down here from Michigan to talk to them myself and to take the wrath on. He said, because I knew it would happen. He said, but there's just no way we could survive without that sports complex coming in, or just favorable lease terms. I mean, and at the same time, the whole group has done this to themselves. I mean, when you look, they sued the guy who bought the Sears building and tore down, and just because he was touching the building, trying to tear everything down. I mean, they just went, just crazy. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the whole group has done this, and I've been in meetings. Even had a discussion one time with the mayor. She said, we have tried everything in our power. She said, but at the end of the day, it's a private business. Yep. And there are things we just can't do.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Hey, Brian, great job being on top of the story starting Saturday night. I appreciate you being here. I have been told that sometime later on in the week we may have an announcement about the entertainment for the regatta. That may be coming at some point later this week. I was told that. I hope that is the case. Quickly, give me 20 seconds on weather since you're here. Earn the weather paycheck. Give me 20 seconds on weather.
Listen, I enjoyed the sunshine today. The frost that we had this morning should be about the last one. 72 tomorrow. It's going to be a dry day with the rain moving in at night. It'll be here still early Wednesday morning, but by Thursday, 68, mostly sunny, 76 Friday. Upper 70s to low to mid 80s over the weekend with a couple of thunder showers, but I really believe this frost this morning was the last hurrah. There'll be a couple spots in the mountains on Thursday morning that have a little frost, but the rest of us are going to do good all the way into the month of May.
All right, Brian, I appreciate it. I'll be hanging out with you Saturday night in Morgantown, man. So
I'll see you there.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. 10 minutes away from 10 in the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Talking about Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcasing the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. We're going to take a break. Danny Jones is going to stick around with me. We're back after this from the Par-Mar Store studio on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at ThornhillGMSuperstore.com or on the road to Total Savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
7 away from Tampa, Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Fresh Air. They'll change those heating and cooling units and air filters for your home, your retail, or industrial business, restaurant, church, or whatever. They can build customer filters for you, too. 24-hour emergency service available. Visit freshairfilters.us or call 304-440-1104 for Fresh Air, because everyone deserves fresh air. Danny Jones, former Charleston mayor, is here. Danny, let's move away from the restaurant business for a moment. I had Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass on top of the show on this whole tyke hunt situation. I know you've been on Hoppy talking about it. Why can't you fire a police officer?
Well, you can. It's just hard. She talked about where the police officer threw the backpack in the river, and he lied about it. That's why he got fired. And then his buddy lied about it for him. And now I know the second police officer, he's one of the cops up there at the state capitol, but he's no good as a witness because it will come up if he has to testify against somebody what happened and why he had to leave the Charleston Police Department.
You wanted to weigh in on this.
Well, the only one we wouldn't even know about this if it hadn't been for Shannon.
Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass.
Yeah, so she has to be. She should be given credit for that. And I'm not sure it's over yet. Now, the reason the Harless case, I know that there was a file sent to the prosecutor, and they didn't prosecute. And I don't think they had anything to prosecute him for on that. Chelsea McCoy, it's right there, baby. Falsification of records, everything. It's all right. That lie box, trading the lie box altered thing for sex, there's got to be a criminal violation there. So it depends. So it might not be over. You don't know. I mean, I don't know who's involved. I don't know what direction, or if the city's closed the case, it may have. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I want to talk a little politics with you. Last week, the governor endorsed former Delegate Moore Capito for governor. A justice is who endorsed Moore Capito. Hoppy's got a poll going on Twitter, on X right now, about do these endorsements really help? And when I looked at the top of the show, doesn't factor in was leading in the informal poll. Your thought on that endorsement?
Well, I think it's significant. I don't know if it's significant enough. I mean, I'd rather have it than not have it. And, Big Jim is very popular. And hopefully it'll roll down to Moore Capito. I mean, because he's very close to Morrissey. I mean, in the polls. So it could help him. Now they're starting to run, what's his name, the Black Bear PAC. That's Morrissey's PAC. He's running nasty stuff about Moore now.
Yeah,
and he's got a thing where I don't know why Donald Trump Jr. would insert himself in that race. I don't know what that's about, because his mother voted for aid to Ukraine, and because she voted for the infrastructure bill. That infrastructure bill is very valuable to this state, and I'm for aid to Ukraine. I mean, I'll tell anybody that. That's easy for me. You don't aid Ukraine. You don't give them the tools to fight that war, to keep Russia busy in Ukraine. They'll get busy in Poland. And it's just like World War II. That's what's wrong with this whole America First movement. It's an isolationist movement. Mm-hmm. We have a precedent, 1938, 1939, 1940. You had Charles Lindbergh. You know, he was out in people don't know about him. He left the country because he couldn't get any peace at home, and he went to Europe, and then he went to France. And when he was in France, he got all jacked up with this one guy, and they were all in Aryan superiority crap. And then he went to Germany, and there he was at 36 Olympics, and he's getting medals from, they wooed him like a bride. And he's there showing the salute, and he's with Goring getting medals. And he made a speech in Madison Square Garden, which wasn't accepted well, but then he went to Iowa. He said there's 3 reasons that the people want us to go into the European war. 1 is the Roosevelt administration, 2 is Great Britain, and 3 are the Jews. Those were his words. So, I mean, we've got precedent for everything that happens here. Mm-hmm. And it's important that we support Ukraine.
I want to get your opinion on this before we go. Campaign advertising, and I consider myself to be friends with just about 99% of the people that are running for various offices, and I know most listen to this show either live or on the podcast. Campaign advertising has become on the statewide level or for Congress or whatever. It's become, I love Trump more than you. I can blow things up. I hate trans people or whatever. I saw an ad over the weekend. I think I even sent it to you, and I'm not picking on this person personally, but a candidate for Secretary of State who said in their ad, I will secure the border. Now, what does a Secretary of State have to do with securing the border? I worked at the Secretary of State. We were more concerned with voting precincts than we were securing the border. Your thoughts?
And the corporations division.
Too.
And that's where my experience was. But people that run that kind of ad, especially the real negative ads, like come out of Morrissey's group, and they're not interested in this state. They're interested in themselves. You have to ask yourself, when you see an ad or hear an ad, who are they interested in? And a lot of them are just interested in themselves. I like Moore because he hadn't run those kind of ads. Mm-hmm. And I hope he doesn't. But Morrissey, he'd do anything to crawl under and try to get the governor's job. I mean, this guy, he'll do anything.
You're not a fan, huh?
I'm not a fan of a lot of these people. I'm glad to be here, though. Right. I've been here before.
I'm aware. What do you think? Hey, we're remodeling. You'll have to come back when the remodeling's finished.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. You got a face for television.
They got my radio. They got me out here before they did all this.
All right, Danny, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. Hoppy Kercheval coming up at 10:06 with Talkline. I'll be back on the show tomorrow. Secretary of State candidate Chris Warner on the show tomorrow, and Stephen Allen Adams will be here too. Enjoy your Monday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.